Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Filoni.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
I felt that was particularly game showy host right there.
You did the whole ramp up into it.
I know.
Well, we've had a couple weeks to work on it. So
yes, exactly. So we've been gone for a couple weeks. We apologize. At some point, we will probably just disappear and never come back. Maybe we'll tell you.
But not today.
Not today.
That's not today. You're not.
If that was your hope, they've been dashed.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sorry, we're back.
We're back. Barry was traveling. Todd's getting ready for work. I had some stuff. So for 2 weeks, we've been off. It is the summer. What are you hassling us for?
Yeah, it was our summer vacation. Give us a break.
Exactly. So we'll get into all that stuff. But thanks for joining us again. If you've missed us, we're going to talk about. Barry's going to talk a little bit about why he was out for a week. We're going to talk about Ashoka. First 3 episodes, there will be spoilers. What's today? Monday? No, Sunday? It's been out for
It's been out a while.
Yeah,
a week and a half at this point.
2 episodes have been out for a while. The last one just dropped.
It'll be a week and a half by the time.
Yeah, by the time this airs. Yeah, if you haven't seen it.
When does it come out? Tuesdays?
Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern.
As we say, if you care, you've seen it.
Yes. So anyway, we'll do some what's in the box and some other stuff. But we'll do a little random. Todd, what do you got?
So, after Disney executives listened to our previous episode and went back and made some changes to their schedule, so a bunch of stuff has gotten pushed back.
This was basically my random as well. So let's just go through it.
Yep, X-Men 97
I hadn't even heard
is
this.
now in 2024 instead of fall of 2023.
Wait, what was that?
X-Men 97, which is a continuation of
the animated thing?
The animated thing?
Yeah, but that
Why
one
is
didn't
that
move that
pushed
far.
back?
It went from fall 2023 to early 2024 is what they're saying.
For the one of the three of us who's looking forward to it, that's far. Basically, Loki is the only thing that stayed where it was supposed to be, and that was the next coming thing.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I have a few others. Not that I'm super excited about it, but the animated What If Season 2 was supposed to be early 24. Now it's going all the way out to December of 24.
Yeah. Yep.
Why are those delayed? That stuff shouldn't be affected by the strikes.
Here's why. So I think that, again, as Todd said, they listen to our podcast. It seems like they're trying to rather than just every time one show ends, they've got another one waiting. They're trying to make these things more like events, and they want to separate them, build them up, promote them, and get people excited about them.
I totally think this is because they're going to have a year in between their proposed their scheduled content and post writer strike content. I think
that plays into it as well.
They're spacing this stuff out to have something to release because there's going to be a huge lag.
I think it's a bit of both, though. So a couple of other things that moved. So Echo went from November 29th of this year to only into January. So that one's not.
They didn't listen because it should go to never.
No.
Here's the one, and I'm Todd. I don't know if this was in what you read, but 2 shows that are now not even on their published schedule.
Ironheart, I know, is one of them.
Well, Wonder Man was one of them, which I honestly don't even know anything about. I don't even remember ever hearing about it.
What's his face?
I know about it and don't care about it.
Okay, but here's the one that you do
Wonder
care
Man.
about.
Oh, I'm thinking Giant
Ironheart.
Man. I'm thinking
Ironheart.
No, not just Ironheart. Daredevil is not even on their officially published schedule anymore because they had to stop production and they do not know when it's going to be ready.
Because they have 18 episodes.
Because they're doing 18 episodes.
Could be part of it.
Interesting.
So the other thing, which I find interesting,
is that I'm going to jump back in because this was my random. Is that the Agatha series now has its 3rd title?
Is Agatha not in it anymore?
No, it's Agatha Darkhold Diaries.
Does anyone care what
I don't know,
it was or what it's not?
This goes back to what we were saying. Just quit announcing shit when you don't know what you're doing.
That's exactly it. Why don't you just announce what's coming up in the next 6 months? Why does everything... Is there ever been announcements that didn't get changed? So,
But
What do you think? People are going to stop watching what's on now because I don't know what's coming in 26? It's ridiculous.
It's just bizarre to me that, like I said, we haven't seen anything from this, but it's now in its third title.
Right. So the first title was Agatha, Coven of Chaos.
Yep.
And then they changed it to Agatha, House of Harkness.
Yep.
And now it's Darkhold Diaries. It also, by the way, not only does it have a third name, it was supposed to come out later this year. It's now coming out Halloween 2024.
Right. Yeah.
And nobody cares.
Which also makes me think that they've probably retooled what the show even was to make it more. If it's Darkhold Diaries, that to me sounds almost like anthology. Like
Which
it might not be.
Could be kind of interesting. Versus, I mean, honestly, Catherine Hahn was a good supporting character. I don't know that you could build a series around her, but there's also a lot of people in this cast. So, we'll
they
see.
just recently announced Aubrey Plaza's in that show now, too.
They have, but you know what? She's not in the list in the thing that I just saw. So, it's going to be tricky. I mean, if they have not filmed this thing yet, all this is optimism. Because
but I thought they were well into production on this one before the strike.
That and a couple are in production. Like, I don't know. It's just this whole 3-year layout of stuff is it just makes you look stupid. I just don't know why they don't get it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right. So the last thing along this topic, which is not Marvel, but Dune 2 was supposed to come out November 3rd, and now that's moved back to March of next year. And I think that's just due to the fact that they don't think they're going to have the cast to promote it because the strike might not be over in time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I gotta say that strikes me as odd. The audience for that movie either exists or it doesn't. I cannot imagine but I'm saying I can't imagine press junkets would be.
But there's a built-in audience, but they want
you need
more
to
than
expand.
that. They
the built-in
want to
audience
go beyond
is not
the built-in
enough
audience.
to support that.
But
you need people who are into Zendaya. You
need Zendaya and
that
Chalamet to be
Chalamet.
out promoting the hell of it on late night talk shows, and they're not on right now. So
because otherwise you're going to open at $18 million, and that would be it. Because it's going in the theaters, I'm guessing. Right?
Oh yeah, it's not a Max. It'll eventually end up on Max. But
I'll wait for the Max.
Yeah,
I don't care about that. I mean,
interesting.
It feels
this
like
is the ripple effect of the strike being.
Yeah,
everybody. Well, the actors and the writers had hoped it would be resolved by now. Clearly, it's not.
They are not even talking at all. Believe me, I have to report on it every week, or I do report on it every week because billing sucks. So I'm like, and by the way, the strike is still going. Tying into that is, I don't know if we ever talked about it, but there was a Disney, I'm assuming Disney Plus, Nautilus, Captain Nemo series, Nautilus, that has been shot and they pulled the plug on it.
Interesting. So they're backgirling it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Supposedly filmed, maybe probably not effects or anything, but they're pulling the plug on it.
But you got to wonder, is it because it's just not good and they don't want to put any more money into it, or is it some other reason? Just don't know.
Well, I blame Warner Brothers Discovery for all bad things, and their whole like, oh, guess what? There's a whole cash flow savings if you just shelve it, and tax write-offs, and that's like the new thing these days. So,
wow. See, I look at it from how bad does something have to be, given some of the crappy things we've seen recently, for them to shelve it. And you're thinking from an entirely other angle.
Yeah,
well, because the other angle is we've already sunk X into it, and it's going to cost X, Y to finish it. Is it worth spending that money?
Yeah, I think it's that. I think that's probably part of it. Like, and then who knows? It could be the greatest thing ever, and someone's opinion, and whatever. But that's just weird. Barry, do you have anything else?
Nope, those were all mine.
I just had a thing, and it's funny. I look at a few sites for random, and I definitely, I look at Variety and Hollywood Reporter for work all the time because it ties into all my stuff. But I look at Geek Tyrant.
Yes.
And I'm not bad-mouthing them, but I just scrolled over the past few days through like a dozen pages. 75% or more is stories written from podcasts.
Yes.
Like, every single thing that they're reporting on, they heard from a podcast. I mean, that's what we're at these days.
I see a lot of that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy how.
Well, and a lot of it is because none of the actors are out promoting anything.
Yeah, nobody anywhere is doing any promotion anywhere. They're not.
Yeah, but this is even old stuff and things like Patrick Stewart, you know, and I mean, some of the stories.
I will tell you, I've actually read a couple of these things. I read one recently that talked about, that was quoting Jonathan Frakes and some stuff, and they were quoting from the 50-year mission book.
That's what they're at.
Like, they just got around to reading this book that we read, 10 years ago, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what they made a top-line article about. And it was just...
Yeah. I think it was 7 years ago, because I got a Facebook memory popped up today when we were at the 50th anniversary convention 7 years ago today.
Was it really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, 7 years ago was what? 2017, 16?
Somewhere around there.
So I guess that's the 50
Good
years.
book, though, by the way, people. Still
it is
still
good
read. But
if you've got 50 hours to listen to something...
Yeah, you could listen to the audiobook version.
It actually is very good.
It's good.
Oh, Dave, I did just remember, by the way, I did have something that came up in the pre-show conversation that I did want to throw into
Pre-show silver.
Yeah, it wasn't quite gold, but were you done with your...
Yeah.
Okay. So I happened to catch about an hour of Solo on TNT.
Todd, if you want to take a break.
The other day.
Take a bathroom break. I'll be back.
I'm just going to say it, and I am going to stand by my comments. Emilia Clarke put on a very nuanced performance in that movie. It actually, she's far better than we all, well, maybe not me, but far better than the two of you give her credit for in that movie.
Okay,
she's actually pretty good.
Okay, just I'm going here. Explain the word nuance to me.
It's not just a one-note wooden performance. There's a lot to that character, that she turns that character into more than just, a one-note performance, which it could easily have been. I mean, Alden Ehrenreich's not great in that movie, but I actually think she was the best thing in that movie.
From an aesthetic sense, yes.
Well, sure that, but even a performance sense.
Wow,
I'm not saying that it's high art.
Honestly,
I'm just saying. I think. How many times have you seen Solo, Todd? Once, probably, right?
Like 1.5.
All right, rewatch it at some point and tell me I'm wrong.
He will, and he will.
I mean, in that,
she's
not Daenerys? Is that what stands out to you? Because
no, I think that there's more. I think that character, because she's got to play the. At the beginning of the movie, she's, the love interest, and then she becomes this other, she's actually working for, I almost said Quinlan Voss, that's not his name, but she's working for whatever his name was.
Darth Maul.
At the end, she's working for Darth Maul, but, I don't know, she goes through a lot of different...
Yeah, you're talking about plot. You're not talking about acting, but go on.
No, I'm talking about the
Todd,
plot.
I don't think you're... problem's ever been with Emilia Clarke. Your problem's with the whole movie.
My problem's with the whole movie, but this is also a flat character. There is no. I really did not.
But that's what I'm actually challenging, is that I don't think she's a flat character. I think that there's actually a lot to that character, and I think if you rewatch it, you might see that.
Do you notice any trace of chemistry between the two of them? Because I don't think that's evident either.
But that's not what I'm referencing, though. I would say that there's a little chemistry there, not as much as I would have liked to have seen, but I just think the different aspects of her character and the way that she plays them from scene to scene, I think that there's more to that than that she has gotten credit for.
From you.
From Todd. Or from people at large. Anyway. Again, not saying I think it's a great movie, not saying that I think he's holding up the crystal skull.
Yeah, where is my skull? I would totally agree with that.
Okay, Barry, I tell you this. I am going to, it won't be this week because this is Hell Week for me. I will commit to rewatching this film. And I have changed my opinion on things before. I will, just not the motionless picture, but I will rewatch this with an open mind, and I will update you, because I will tell you, I have never seen her in anything other than Game of Thrones where I felt she did a good job. And
wait, well, what about Secret Invasion?
Exactly, case in point. So
what about Terminator Genesis?
Again,
right, and I'm with you there on both of those things. I'm just saying that I think that her performance as Solo is better than she gets credit for.
We should do something where when we decide to, 2 of 3 people decide to wield the crystal skull.
There's like a
you just
challenge.
have to shut up.
Like a crystal skull
you just
challenge.
have to shut up and don't talk about it.
No, I think there's a crystal skull.
No,
challenge.
I'm kidding. But that's sort of a power that's like.
I think when 2 of us drop the crystal skull, I think we have to concede that we'll go back and look at it again, because then we're really going to lay it hard on Barry.
What I'm
wow.
saying.
So in that sense,
that's a more positive outlook.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
So
I've been skulled, is what you're saying.
So you've been skulled.
Maybe we should do Solo as a watching. Record.
We could. It's not that bad. Okay, it's not.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's
but
worthy
you
of
know
a
what?
commentary.
Not that bad is not a strong endorsement for a film of that budget and that profile.
And I will just say one more time, that movie came out too soon, right after the death of Han Solo, for anybody to be ready.
I totally agree with that. You know who doesn't beat a topic to death? Fanboy Collectibles.
We love
Check
those
them
guys.
out.
Yes.
If you like E.T. or Kiss, they got stuff for you, statues and all kinds of stuff. Speaking of Ahsoka, Sabine Wren Hasbro Black Series helmet. That actually looks awesome. Check that out. They're doing a great job with those. I'm glad they're releasing a bunch of those. There's a bunch of stuff in stock now. Cad Bane, Hot Toys Cad Bane, Archer, X06 Captain Archer from Star Trek.
You'll be hearing more about that
tons
soon.
Of stuff.
Yep.
Fanboy's got it all. Hot Toys and Sideshow and Pops and everything. Kotobukiya, of course. Hasbro, all these Hasbro helmets. They're doing a great job with it.
They've got a great Monsters Inc. statue. Like, totally
Monsters
not
Inc.
our genre, but it's just awesome.
Yeah. Anything you want. Check those guys out. FanboyCollectibles.com. Check them out in their store in person, Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the regular Joe sent you.
And I'm going to add a little something.
Yes.
On the EXO figures, okay?
Or XO.
XO 6 figures, okay?
That's not the thing that Barry says wrong, and I will point it out as soon as you say it. Sorry.
So, anyways, on the Star Trek figures, the pre-order cycle on some of those is really short. So if you Troy managed to get me in under the wire on one that I wanted, but it's not like some of the Hot Toys. So when you see these things and you're interested, you got to remember these things are coming out far quicker than the Hot Toys figures are, and because of that, your pre-order time your pre-order window is very short. So jump right on that if something you want to see.
If you see it, order it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So he got you in on. We won't talk about what it is, but he did get you in on that one.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Good.
So
cool. Okay. So Barry, we had a trip because that's one of the reasons we were out.
Yes,
he was gone for
and
a week.
I mentioned at the end of the last show that I was going on an adventure, but I didn't say what it was.
And he can only say so much.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not. Usually, when we get to do something cool, we give you guys a play-by-play, and we, tell you everything. Not going to be able to do that this time, but I can now say that I went to Skywalker Ranch and Lucasfilm, and I got to stay on the ranch for 5 nights, which was unbelievable. There's a strict policy there about what you can post pictures of, and I'm not going to reference specific things that I saw just because I'm trying to have been a good guest of Skywalker Ranch and not break any rules. But I saw things. I can definitely say I saw things.
You saw things.
I saw things. So what I will say is, having been part of the original Star Wars, generation, having been there from the beginning, I've seen every behind-the-scenes documentary. I've seen every TV special. I've seen every Blu-ray extra. I have every reference book that I can fit on my bookshelves. And all of the things that I have seen in video and movies and books, I saw a lot of it in real life. And it was kind of just surreal, quite honestly, at points, to actually be seeing these things. And in some cases even handling them. But it was unbelievable. So what I will say is, 5 nights on Skywalker Ranch at their inn, which is just a beautiful place. You can look up pictures of the ranch and the inn online. I think that there's pictures out there. It was pretty amazing, though. Obviously Lucas picked this location for a reason. It's a kind of north of San Francisco, out in the middle of nowhere.
And that's if you don't know all the background Lucasfilm, George Lucas stuff, he always wanted to be sort of the anti-Hollywood, and then, was from Northern California, so pushed a lot of stuff and really made some amazing retreat up there for film. There's Skywalker Sound. I can't say if you saw it or not. I
could say what I saw there.
I know, I'm kidding. But there's a ton of it made a really cool community, and that's why a ton of people use their services and stuff.
Yeah, and that's the main thing that's actually really still active. On the grounds they have this inn, which has a lot of there's like single bedroom units, double bedroom units, triple bedroom units. Like the inn is just a beautiful building itself. There's a main house in the inn with a big professional kitchen that's fully stocked, and you can use it. There are people that stay there for months on end, like when they're working on big projects. So they really have it set up to make it as comfortable for people as possible.
We should edit our podcast from there.
We totally should. So that's the inn, and then there's Skywalker Sound, which is its own big building. I did not go inside of Skywalker Sound. While we were there, there was a fairly well-known celebrity who was actually working there on an album, making
Amelia Clark. Is that why
it wasn't Amelia Clark?
Much?
No,
okay.
But there was a crew there working on an album. We never saw the celebrity person, but we did meet a bunch of the crew, and because it's kind of weird. But at breakfast time and at dinner time at the inn, people just kind of hang out and talk, and you talk about, well, what are you doing here, and what are you doing?
Steven Spielberg?
No, not Steven Spielberg.
Just want to.
So then there's that building. There's the archive building, which is its own separate building, and then there's the main house, which is just this beautiful Victorian style house that he's built. Did not go in there either, but I did get to see it. And so the policy on photos on the ranch, you can only take pictures outside, and you have to be in the pictures. So on our social media, I can post a few pictures of me standing in front of buildings. That's about all I can post.
Cool. There were good pictures. The place is beautiful.
Yeah,
so look for those on our Instagram.
There's a small lake, which is more like a pond, but it's called Ewok Lake, which was kind of funny. So anyway, so that's sort of that. And then right next door to that ranch is another ranch called Big Rock Ranch, which they also own. And that used to be where Lucas Animation was. In Big Rock Ranch, they have a store. So there's like a company store that if you're there visiting or working there, you can actually shop at. And then on the ranch proper, there's a much smaller store. So, there were shopping opportunities. And I guess when we get to what's in the box, we can talk about that.
That sounds good.
I can say this. I spent 2 days in the archives doing research, which was just mind-blowing. I spent 1 day at Lucasfilm's offices. So for everybody that's not as close to this as I am, so Skywalker Ranch is still owned by George Lucas, and that's his, and it did not transfer to Disney. Lucasfilm, which is in San Francisco, is the Disney arm of Lucas. So two separate companies run very differently. And they've got their own archive, by the way, the Lucasfilm, for all the last, the Disney movies and TV series, and did not see any of that.
Did you see Kathy Kennedy?
Didn't see Kathy Kennedy, no.
Did you spit on her?
I would have if I saw her, but I didn't see her. No, I would never have done that. So what I did see at Lucasfilm, though, beyond the things that were on display there, which were really amazing, which you're not allowed to take any pictures of. So what's actually really interesting, and Dave knows some of this, outside of the Lucasfilm offices, they have this big, elaborate Yoda fountain. And that's open to the public. You can take pictures there and whatever. And then the Lucasfilm offices, their lobby is also open to the public, which I don't think everybody knows that, which is hilarious because when we were there to meet with people, we had to wait for a little while for our person to come down and grab us. So we were in the lobby watching just like people come in and look around, and as soon as anybody walked in, the guy sitting at the front desk had to call them over and explain what the rules were. Obviously, the rules are you can take pictures, but you can't touch anything.
So you didn't have to actually associate with any of these people, right? It's the hoi polloi.
No.
Okay.
We were there on official business. I had a sticker that showed that I was there. I was official. And of course, I did save that sticker that had
If
my
you could
name
post
on
a picture of that sticker so our fans can make their own.
high res
Absolutely.
copy of that would be great.
Yeah. But so in the lobby, it's a beautiful lobby, but all of the items on display in the lobby are like replicas. There's no screen used. Like a lot of what's in the lobby, I literally have in my basement, like master replicas, things, and whatever.
Yeah.
But there is also a store on the Lucasfilm campus, but it's pretty deep into the complex. Like it's not like right off the lobby, and that is not open to the public.
I'm surprised they don't have a store because I've been there twice. And I, even when I'm there, even if I just grab a quick picture in front of Yoda statue, a lot of people are coming. They would sell a lot of stuff.
They would sell a lot of stuff.
Had even a food truck selling merchandise or something.
You're not wrong. I mean, there was a steady stream of people there just to look around,
just to see the lobby.
I think that
and it's not like
changes- I think that changes it from people that are just really dedicated to setting foot in there and just kind of checking it out to it becomes a
just
tour
to
stop.
say they've been there.
It becomes a tour stop.
Because it's not a place like, oh, I'm going to
yeah.
Fisherman's Wharf and I'll just walk up the street.
Yeah.
It's you got it.
Once you make
destination.
it a tourist destination, it changes things in time.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And
like
they've already
we don't
done
sell
that
our
with the Yoda
merchandise
fountain, but
because it's for a select few.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was. I mean, and it's not a big store at the Lucasfilm offices, but like I said, you've got to go through security and walk down hallways and go through doors, and it's like pretty far into the thing. But one of the coolest things I saw there, which again, I think there's no reason I can't say this, we got to spend a few minutes in their motion capture stage, which was pretty wild. I mean, they had somebody in there in the suit with the little dots on it, and he was moving around, and as he moved around, there was a monitor where you looked on the monitor, and it was a gorilla, and he was controlling the movements of the gorilla. And I've seen videos of that before, so it's not like I've never seen that technology before.
It's cool to see it live,
but it was really cool to see it in person. So all in all, I was there. I think we were there 6 days in total. It was a once-in-a-lifetime thing. It was amazing. I wish I could say more on the show about what I got to do, but I'm being respectful to the people that made it happen and the things that I saw and all of that.
It just sucks when the stormtroopers show up at your house. That's what I'm just saying.
Exactly. I'm trying to avoid that. I will also say this. During the course of my trip there, and while not at the Lucasfilm or Skywalker Ranch offices, I got to meet some amazing people, like legends in the movie industry, legends in Star Wars, legends in special effects. Just really, really amazing. So it was a true once-in-a-lifetime trip. I wish you guys could have been there. Because I know you guys would have loved it as much as I did. I'm sorry that it was not open for all of us, but holy shit, it was an amazing trip.
Okay. So Barry, having said that, Dave and I have seen pictures, and we have heard some more details. This is not the story of Barry's girlfriend in Canada. All of this actually happened. Just saying.
Yeah, this was real.
This was real.
It was not a fever dream.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's not that you're not allowed to take pictures. It's just you're not allowed to post pictures. So I did take a shit ton of pictures. I just can't show them on Instagram or social media.
It's real. The envy is real on the part of Dave.
They're
and I.
real. They're spectacular.
It was real and it was spectacular.
But we also are super pleased that you had this experience, and that's just great.
Well, and I did,
awesome.
as you guys now well know, I also did pack an empty duffel bag with me and came home with it stuffed to the gills.
You're
with
welcome, by
Thank
the way.
you. Yes.
I invented that.
Dave invented that concept, and I did.
I don't think I did. I think women who go to France invented that, but I adopted it for the nerd.
Yeah, and so you guys both already have some things that I brought back for you.
One of the things.
Yeah, I'm wearing one of the T-shirts I bought as well. And when we do what's in the box, I'll show you more stuff. And as you both know, there are additional items coming your way around the holidays because you're impossible.
Are you
to buy
allowed
for.
to post pictures of this stuff?
Yeah.
This is gift
I
shop
can post
stuff.
pictures of the items that I bought.
You have to wear it, but with black tape over
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Anyway, cool. It's awesome. I'm so happy for you. I know we talked while you were there and afterwards and saw the pictures. It is something that all the geeks aspire to. So
yeah, the
awesome.
person that made it all possible for me to go towards the end of the trip was like, so how does it feel to be king of the nerds, Barry? And I was like, I kind of am for this little period of time.
Do you want to say what you equated it to? Because I think that's...
Yeah, and you know, this can sound weird, and you all know me well enough to know that I don't mean it that way, but it really felt like somebody had signed me up for Make-A-Wish, and I didn't know, like, they didn't want to tell me that I was dying, and this was like, Make-A-Wish was
this would be the thing to do for Barry.
Making this trip happen for me, and I'm waiting for the doctor's note to come to tell me that, you know, I have two weeks left to live or something, but it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Cool.
So if you ever happen to see me out in the wild, ask me to show you pictures on my phone. I think I can do that.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Why don't we go to what's in the box so you could go right into that? That's a good segue.
Okay. So you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Yeah, go first.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So it's not what's in the box. It's what's in the Skywalker Ranch General Store shopping bag.
I have one of those.
I brought 3 of those bags back. Each of you got one. You didn't see this one yet. This is the Lucasfilm Company store.
Oh, that's a cool
shopping
with
bag.
the silver
Yeah,
logo.
it's like
That's
a silver
cool.
reflective logo. So obviously this T-shirt that I'm wearing, everybody that I got shirts for got different shirts. You guys both got the same shirt, but it's different from the shirt I got me. It's different from the shirt I got my son Josh. So they all say Skywalker Ranch on them. Some of them also say the town that Skywalker Ranch happens to be.
Yeah, that's the one I'm wearing. I like how it's very subtle. It's dark. Mine is dark gray with yellow and black.
Yep, and that's the same one that Todd got. I got you each and myself one of these Skywalker Ranch pens that actually say Summit. That's the Big Rock Ranch. They call that Summit now. So these pens are from there. While at the Lucasfilm store, I got myself a Lucasfilm T-shirt, just black shirt with a Lucasfilm logo on it. They didn't have. I'll be honest. In the Lucasfilm store, there wasn't a ton of stuff. But the other thing I got there, which I really like, is a Mandalorian Season 2 ILM Special Effects T-shirt from the crew. And it's got logos on the arms, the Mando skull, and I guess that's, what's her name's helmet? Bo-Katan on the other sleeve. And then it's got the new ILM logo on the back.
That's cool.
So I like that shirt. That's the one I was wearing when I was at your house.
You have it in 2 colors.
Yes. Okay. This I got because I knew my wife would appreciate this. The Skywalker Ranch Christmas ornament.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. It's got a artwork of the ranch on one side.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's no moon.
Skywalker Ranch on the back. Because we always get ornaments every time we go on a vacation and we visit somewhere.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to get that. And it literally says Skywalker Ranch on the box, which is cool. I got myself a hoodie that just has the Skywalker Ranch logo on the back, which I was telling Dave, it's kind of like the hood almost kind of covers the logo.
Yeah.
It kind of does. Yeah. Well, you would wear the hood up and then very dramatically sweep the hood back. You know this, Barry.
It's like a Palpatine thing.
That's exactly. But also, like, well, as we'll talk about, what apparently every Jedi does.
Yes.
So, yep.
I got myself a vest, which this is like my favorite thing that I brought back with it's like a blue vest with the Skywalker Ranch logo embroidered on it. Subtle, but cool.
We need to make vests.
We now know why Barry had so many bags.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I single-handedly... Well, I shouldn't say that. I dropped a lot of money there. Probably not more than anybody ever has, for sure. But got a Skywalker Ranch patch. I got each one of you guys one of these, too. I got you guys Lucasfilm patches, which I didn't get one of those for me, but I got this for you. I can say this now that I'm home. I swiped a bunch of stuff from the inn.
You're saying it on the airways, but
they're postcards, so they had a postcard of the main house.
What's that lamp?
Yeah, I was going to say, the coffee table is a gray area.
Postcards of the property.
Those are for your taking.
Postcards of the inn.
Yep.
There was another pen that they had in the lobby. We all had to sign like an NDA when we got there. And it was a Skywalker Ranch.
Not
pen.
only am I signing your
So of course
NDA,
you take the pen.
I'm taking it.
Got to take the pen. The last night we were there, they had like stacks of firewood, and they had an outdoor fire pit. And we decided the last night that we would just like sit outside and make a fire. And the firewood had its own like Skywalker Ranch tag with instructions. So
you should put that on eBay and see what you can get for it.
Let's see. I took the parking pass from the car.
Of course you should. Yes.
They gave us maps of the property. I took those.
You could change the date on that.
Yeah. And there's another map of the property. Took that one home. And then while you're staying at the ranch, you can actually buy and drink Skywalker wine, and they had a whole menu of the wine that you could. So I brought that home.
Nice.
Only because you can also mail order this stuff, so I actually brought it home. I think. Well, I have some other things, but I can't show you because I got something that I got one of for each of us, but you're getting them for Christmas, so I can't show you that.
Okay, fair enough.
I got my son Josh a different hoodie than the one I got, and a different T-shirt than the ones you got. And I think that's everything.
Wow. What's in the bag?
Nice. Yeah, it was what's in the shopping bag, and it was what's in the duffel
Walmart bag.
I had to check my suitcase so that I could bring the duffel bag as a carry-on to make sure
was a
that
good
it
one.
That you don't want to risk checking.
It was a good
checking at all.
No.
That's awesome.
All right, who wants to go next?
Todd.
Okay. So I got yet another Hot Toys Grogu figure.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. So this is my fourth. This one came with Ahsoka, which is just a really freaking awesome figure. I got to say, this is based on
and that's the Rosario Dawson.
This is the Rosario Dawson one. They utterly nailed it. It's got the
move it.
Yeah,
there.
It's got the the you don't see the seams in the arms. The deco is great. Everything's awesome on it. She looks really, really good.
That's a good figure.
Yeah, super, super nice figure, and really, really pleased with it. Like I said, it's got Grogu. She's got the little lantern thing. She's got the cape thing that I tried putting on her, which looks very, very cool, but covers up so much.
Yeah,
including
that's
her head
the problem with the
and her
cape,
arms and stuff like that. That even swept back. It's they did a really good job making it thin and kind of frayed the way she has it. But I won't display that. And but just superb figure. This is I think it's always easier to pull off either robot heads or makeup heads, than it is the real humans. But this thing is just so incredibly lifelike, and it just they did a great job with the makeup and live action capturing the character, and this just conveys that really, really well. So super, super pleased with that. So
I was trying to I was looking at my Grogus that I've gotten, and I think that it might be a different head sculpt than they've done before.
Yeah, no, this is the Luke, the same as the Luke Grogu, and it is different than the earlier ones, the Mando ones.
Yeah, because I have 4 of them also. But,
we've had this discussion before about whether this constitutes another figure or not, or whether it's an accessory. But he comes with extra hands, and
he looks like he's definitely doing something.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean he's got movable arms, and he comes with extra hands. God, his feet turn. So
he's a figure.
They got to get him out of that Uncle Fester.
They really got to get him out of the Uncle Fester outfit. I will say that absolutely. So,
yep. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yep.
Dave, what's in the box?
Thanks. Sometimes I don't go on like TeePublic. I've talked about them before, but of course they pop up in my Facebook feed. And then if there's something featured, I'm like, oh, I got to get. So TeePublic has people design shirts, and then artists make them, and there's all kinds of nerdy stuff. But I bought a couple because I saw this one, and I had to have it.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is basically the screen of the motion detector from
Aliens.
Aliens, when all the aliens are in the room. I just love subtle things that
cool.
we know about.
That is very deep too. People are not going
Yeah.
to get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I immediately knew
and
what
then-
it was, but most people
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Most people won't. It's awesome. That's my favorite kind of shirt.
I actually, when I first looked at that, and granted, I'm on a lot of cold medication, I thought like targeting TIE fighters from the Millennium Falcon.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
No. But, and I got to say, their quality of shirts is great.
Yeah.
And nothing against Last Exit, but you can almost get similar designs that Last Exit has that are artist made, and I like these shirts better. They're super comfortable.
Cool.
They fit right. And then, of course, I'm like, I bought one, so why didn't I buy two? Because it's the same shipping. So I looked up something, and I got this.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Do you know what that is,
Planet of
Barry?
the Apes.
Oh, what a planet.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a bunch of different versions of this. So this one is sort of the astronauts in Planet of the Apes don't belong to NASA. They belong to ANSA. No, ANSA, and it says American National Space Administration taking mankind far into the future, and it's a picture of the Icarus and the thing. And there's a bunch of these kinds of things. So I thought that was very subtle too. So
just slightly in the future when we absorb Canada. So.
Yeah, exactly. Not unfortunately for the listening public, but today it runs out in like 17 hours. TeePublic is having a sale, or I think all shirts are $16. So
that's
if you
a good
guys
deal.
want one,
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, that's a great deal. These are really nice shirts. These are almost like the what's that company we like? The We Love Fine,
Yeah,
and then
then they changed their name.
Yeah, they changed their name to I don't remember what they changed.
No.
For something by something.
I'm not even sure they're still in business, but
Yeah, but that quality of shirt that we always like, that fit right and soft, so check those guys out. Well, check them out anyway, but you won't be able to get the sale, but you guys will if you want something. You can type in almost any nerdy thing. Like I just typed in this morning, Logan's Run, and there's 50 Logan's Run, because I do not have a Logan's Run shirt.
yeah, actually,
That's when I got to kind of.
I
I got to stop buying shirts. I got to stop buying freaking Batman shirts. But I got to stop buying shirts of things that I have, and get things that I don't. Isolate those. Little
That's
niches.
why I wanted the.
Yep.
I have Alien
Yep.
stuff, but I wanted something from Planet of the Apes, and I definitely want something from Logan's Run. There's not any. I didn't see any real subtle ones, but some just have the logo, which is cool. Some have there's a lot of. Logan's Marathon, and then it has the date, it's like the 30 and over marathon. That was kind of funny, I thought, but I got to order one of those. But anyway, that's what's in.
I could see maybe a subtle one would be like the hand statue with the gem in it.
There's a lot of
like that. Yeah, that could be cool.
There's that stuff too. But anyway, that's what's in the box. Okay, Ashoka. Spoilers. There will be spoilers. First 3. How many episodes are there?
8.
First 3 are up on Disney Plus, and we all watched the first 3.
And
the
I'll
first
just
2
say this, going back to my trip for a second. I was really excited because the first 2 episodes came out while I was at Skywalker Ranch, and I'm like, oh, how cool will it be to watch Ahsoka on Skywalker Ranch? Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
The TVs that they have are so old, there's no way to cast anything to them. I mean,
you
I
don't want to watch it on a
I
computer.
could have watched it on my laptop, but I'm like, I really don't want to watch it on my laptop. So yeah,
You should have gone into the. There was, I'm sure, a movie theater.
I'm sure we could have broke into Skywalker Sound, and but we were trying to follow the rules. So
yeah. So anyway, and the first 2 episodes were long. One was 50 some minutes, and one was 40 some minutes.
47, and then the third episode was like 38 minutes or something. But they always include the credits in those runtimes. There's a lot of credits, so take 5 minutes off. Yeah,
There's credits.
So maybe
there's credits in other languages that they include in there.
Yeah. So there's like at least 2 hours, 2 hours of content and 20 minutes of story.
Yep.
Anyway. So now we know how Dave feels about it.
I like it.
But here's I was worried about this up front, and I think my concern was right. This is the first Star Wars show where I feel like you really need to know what the hell happened in Rebels to fully understand the show. They don't give you here's what happened in 4 seasons of Rebels, and here's who Ezra Bridger is, and here's the relationship.
I want to hear this.
Explain it.
I want to get this perspective, because you did not watch Rebels, Dave, right?
I did
Are
not
you
watch. I
adrift?
watched some of Rebels. Well, I know of the characters, but so let's say Rebels doesn't exist, and if you're watching something, and this show is a little bit of a slow burn. It's not like all in your face, and they do sort of, introduce. They talk about Ezra and they talk about Thrawn and that he disappeared. I didn't know any of that. So as an outsider, you're being fed the information you need about these characters that you will need to know later in the series. So I don't think you really need to know.
I don't think so either.
You're saying you need to know it because you know it already.
Right, and
but
the other thing, Barry, is
how I'm being fed is fine. I think
it's not everything they refer to in the past actually happened in Rebels. There's events that happened between Rebels
that's
and
true.
this, and I think people because I'm like, I didn't see that, and so I think Rebels is one bit of foundation, but they're not, but there is time in between, and they're referring to things that happened in that time in between in the same way, in precisely the same way as the things we actually saw. So I do think people watching it think all of that might have happened in Rebels, but
I feel like you're almost if someone's a hardcore Rebels fan, like, no offense, Todd sometimes gets into with comics and movies, like, they're going to deviate. They're not going to, someone could be like, that's not all, like you just said, that didn't happen in Rebels. That's
no,
not
I don't
the way,
think there's any
and
deviation.
be like,
I think it's that they continued. They're talking about events that happened after the completion of Rebels.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I agree. They're not deviating at all so
No.
far from the
okay,
events of
I
Rebels.
don't know, but I feel
But
like,
there are
here's
things
what I
that
know.
happened after Rebels ended and before the show started that they're just filling you in on.
Sabine
But
was never Ahsoka's Padawan.
Padawan, right?
We never
Right.
saw
She
her.
Oh,
was-
really?
In Rebels, she had Ezra's Ezra gave her his lightsaber, and she had trained with the darksaber because she's actually a descendant of the house of Vizsla. So she actually had the darksaber.
Bo-Katan's niece or cousin?
No, I don't think she's related to Bo-Katan.
Oh, I think
she's
she
related
is.
to Pre Vizsla. And she's the one that had the darksaber. She got the darksaber from Darth Maul. She gave it to Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan didn't win it from her in battle. She was just given it, and that's that set up for Mando season 3.
She never did any Jedi anything?
Okay, Ezra tried a little bit to train her, but that was it.
Right.
And we saw that.
From where I stand, Sabine was her Padawan, and it just didn't work out.
Right.
And you're also setting up.
And they haven't told us why it didn't work out yet.
That's a complete deviation from
well,
Rebels.
no, it's not, because it falls in the crack between Rebels and this.
It all happened after Rebels.
Does it?
That's where I'm saying.
Okay, if Ezra gave her his
that's what I'm
lightsaber.
saying.
So
It's
here's how Rebels ends. Rebels ends with Sabine and Ahsoka going off to find Ezra.
Yeah.
So after they go off to find Ezra is when she becomes
trains.
her Padawan.
Yeah.
And
Why
she
would he
trains
leave his lightsaber? Why would he give her his lightsaber? Why would you be a Jedi? Is he a Jedi?
Ezra
A real
basically
Jedi?
sacrificed himself to save their planet.
But didn't he go do that and then disappeared? From what I know, Ezra went to go find or fight Thrawn and disappeared or supposedly died. And obviously, we're going to find out that Thrawn's alive. And
He had to go through a metal
Ezra's
detector
alive,
to
too.
do that.
Yeah, but why would you leave your lightsaber behind? The interesting thing, the guy they're not really mentioning that. They did the Kanan dude.
Yeah, they slightly mentioned him because we met his
son. I didn't know that
is from
Ewan McGregor's wife slept with that other dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Freddie Prinze Jr. Yeah.
She slept with
that who
Freddie
that dude
Prinze
is?
Jr., yes. Barry, is the kid old enough? So
Yeah, I
many
think so.
He would have been born right before A New Hope, right?
And
this is
they claim Ahsoka's
8
10 years after the Battle
this
of
is
Yavin.
8 years after, 8 or 9 years after?
10.
10? 10 years after
10.
Jedi.
Yeah, the kid's probably old enough.
No, 10 years after Battle of Yavin. I think. I just read that today.
No, it's 10. It's 10 years after the events of Return of the Jedi.
I thought it was only 5 years. Well, it's Mandalorian
this
started
should be
5
like-
years, and it's been 5 years.
How many years between A New Hope and Jedi?
3-ish.
So he should be 13, 14, somewhere around there.
Yeah, he's probably in the right range.
Okay. I took him to be like 10.
I thought that was young Boba Fett.
They
I
may
didn't
age
know.
differently, and
That's true, too. He's also kind of mixed species, so...
yeah, he's a mixture of human.
Yeah, he's got no green. He's got none of those little things.
And he doesn't have a soul patch either. So it's like, yeah. It doesn't look like either of them.
Yeah, but okay, so they didn't mention that dude a lot, and he was pretty prominent in Rebels. Maybe we'll hear about
But he
him,
died in Rebels. Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
I think I know enough because I did watch a recap after I watched the third one.
Yep.
I watched a recap, like a half-hour recap, to get. It was a little complicated. I almost felt like what we were just saying. I didn't really need that. I'm getting enough information for what I need in the show
So
to carry
the
me
half-hour
through.
one might have been better. I had Maria watch like 12-minute recap of Rebels before we
I
started.
may have watched that one too. It was really fast.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
and
wait
she's
a
like,
second.
"This is going too fast for me. I have no idea what's going on."
I watched that one too. I don't think you need anything, honestly.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
It can't hurt, but I think
Maybe
you
I
can
just
go
felt that
forward.
way because I kept getting references back to things that I knew, and I thought maybe, hey, for the uninitiated, this might not make any sense. But if it's
I
working,
don't
then
think
good.
so. I've been watching this with Karen, and she hasn't seen anything other than early Rebels, and she's getting everything, and she says it's clear. I can see
Yeah,
from our
I gotta ask
perspective,
Pam,
Barry,
she's watching
why
it.
all the name dropping and stuff like that would. But I mean, okay, look at watching. Any Star Wars. They reference characters who are off screen. I mean, look at frickin' watching Lord of the Rings. They're constantly talking about people you've never seen and you'll never see. It's, I think because we have that basis in Rebels, we're putting more importance on actually
I
having
guess
lived
that's
these
fair.
I
events
would
than-
agree with that.
But even like some of the characters that are just showing up randomly, like Clancy Brown's character is a Rebels character.
But that's an Easter egg for us. It means
Yeah, there's a
nothing to
bunch of
somebody
Easter
else.
eggs like that. Like
It's funny. I do see a ton of videos, like 73 Easter eggs in,
and you know what?
in this episode. I'm like, I don't know.
they're
I don't know
actually
any of them.
balancing that pretty good. I really do. I think there's.
Sometimes they're distracting.
I think
a
there's
little,
enough.
but I,
Well, okay, let's just say Lothcat. Okay, come on. It's just I'm happy every time I see him on one of those on screen.
and it looked like they built a practical one.
It
I mean,
kinda does.
some of it was
Kinda
CG, but it looks like there was an animatronic Lothcat there.
So
maybe we could call Mike McMaster. Maybe he built it.
he would know the stuff on Lothal that they made. The tower, all that kind of stuff. Chills. I mean, they just did such
Yeah.
a great job
Right out of the
translating that from the that stupid highway thing that you got.
the road that goes to nowhere. Yeah.
The road that goes out to nowhere. Perfect. Okay. I thought that was really, really well done. It's aesthetically not surprising. They did a great job capturing it. Okay. Even
Well,
Ezra's
and that's
little
the thing.
hideaway
You've got
is
Dave
perfect.
Filoni, who basically learned how to make Star Wars side by side with George Lucas. I feel like this show, almost more than anything we've gotten, looks and feels the most Star Warsy. The ships, the angles that they're shooting things from, really feels like Star Wars. Even more, definitely more than Andor, more than
Right.
It's
maybe
sort of
not
more
than
in that.
Mando,
I'm gonna
more
say-
in the inner rim
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
era of stuff, or not an era.
Tonally,
location.
it feels more like the animated series than I think the animated shows than any other Star Wars we've seen, though. Okay, I think
No,
there's
that's
certain
fair.
things. There's certain things that it's and you can see that, but I think he also wants that connective tissue. He wants viewers of one thing to feel like they're home. And
It's definitely different than Mandalorian, which is always out in the outer rim and
every set
desert
in
planets.
this
You're
is
definitely
cleaner-
getting a different.
is cleaner than
Yeah.
anything we see in Mandalorian. And,
Well, and just
you
just
see the-
seeing
you
the
see
shots
the
of the
rebels.
rebel fleet and
That's all
ships
cool.
that we're familiar with. I mean, the Home One is there. That's the Mon
Yeah.
Calamari ship from Return of the Jedi, and we're seeing A-wings and X-wings, and so
Yeah.
all of that. Did you guys pick up on that at the opening scene of the first episode? That's Mark Ralston from Aliens.
Yes, is
the
it
captain.
him?
It is
I
him.
wasn't sure if it
that's
was
cool.
him.
No, it did
Because
not.
I'm like,
The
that's
arrogant
him, and
captain
then
who got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
did you look in? Is it definitely him?
No,
'Cause-
I looked it up on IMDb. It's him.
Okay, because I'm like, that's definitely him. And then when they showed close-ups, I'm like, it doesn't.
Well,
look
we met
exactly
him, but we
like
met him like 10 years ago now. He's aged a little bit since then.
I thought he looked younger. I thought
Oh,
he
really?
looked like less like rough.
Yeah, that
but
was
was cool that he's in it.
definitely him, which was cool.
Good.
Yeah.
The thing, I'm enjoying it, and I do like it's very Star Warsy. Particularly the first episode. The dialogue is super weak.
Yeah.
It was, and you want to know, I'm reading all this. Filoni's writing it, and Dave's doing a great job, stars, but he does not write great dialogue. He needs someone in there to punch this stuff up. It was a little slow.
It's stiff and it's stilted, and it
It's
got
very
better.
George
It got better
Lucas-y.
after the first one.
So the one thing that I've known the Ahsoka character since the beginning in Clone Wars and all through Rebels, and we've seen her in live action now, but she feels very stiff.
Yeah. Oh God.
Like it doesn't seem like the Ahsoka that I remember from the animation.
And Bear, I'm going to totally agree with you, and I'm going to say this: this is not where she should be stiff. Okay, because this is post. She should have loosened up a little bit. There should be a little more joy to her. She's very stoic, very stiff, and just a hard ass. And I'm kind of looking at it, and I'm to the point now, 3 episodes in, where I'm like, is the makeup and the hairpiece really, really uncomfortable?
You think it's her, or do you think it's the writing?
I think it's the directing and the writing too.
I feel like
that's the one thing. I tell you, I freaking love Sabine Wren. I think they did a really good job with that character, translating that. So glad they cut the hair. Okay,
and she was not one of my favorite characters in Rebels.
I
by
did
far,
like
but
her.
she's great in this.
Ultimately,
show.
like her
She's
towards
pretty
the end.
good. Yeah,
she's exactly who she should be. Okay, she was an angry kid, and this is who she kind of mellowed into. Okay, and that feels right. Hera is very flat. Okay, but that's forgivable. There's not. I
remember saying that to you guys just seeing the trailer that I felt like
there's not a set
flat.
path to go there. There may be something she gets excited about at some point, and we see some life in that character. But Ahsoka is just very wooden and very, very. She comes alive when she's fighting, but that's the only time.
Yeah, I don't want to see her, doing Sky Guy and being Snips from the original Clone Wars characterization. And I get that she's aged into a more, a Jedi, but they could have her ride that line and be a little bit more animated. And
the writing is a little, and I'm sorry, Dave, but the writing is a little simplistic and flat. It totally is.
We know there's some sort of confrontation with Anakin coming, and it's a flashback, I presume. Okay. I kind of hope this is intentional. I kind of hope she's like carrying the burden of what he became, and that she's putting that on herself because she abandoned him. And I do think that one of the great things with the Ahsoka character is it actually explains Anakin's transition in some ways, because she was kind of the yin to his yang. And when he lost her was when he pivoted that way. And
they haven't given us the explanation yet, but she also walked away from training Sabine. And so she walked away from the Jedi Order. She walked away from training Sabine,
and she did say, "I walked away from Sabine like I walked away from Anakin."
That's exactly.
I don't think the way she's being is a specific character arc. I just think it's just not the greatest directing and not the greatest acting.
I hope there's something.
And not the greatest writing.
She can loosen up a little bit. She gets a little.
I'm hoping she does. I mean, the dialogue in all of the original trilogy was not the greatest dialogue. But
is that what he's trying to do specifically? Because he's written stuff for Mandalorian. I mean, not that it's freaking Shakespeare or anything, but it's not so noticeably kind of like this is really just simplistic.
So if we think back to when she was in Mando, she was kind of monk-like. You know what I'm saying? She was just kind of like very zen and kind of, that's kind of the vibe that I got. And I thought that was like, okay, that's who she is now.
But when she was hanging out with Luke,
you don't even get that now.
She was a little more commanding.
That's what
stuff.
I'm saying. It's like
right,
yeah.
But she also seemed a little bit more relaxed when she was hanging out with Luke, and she's making the comments.
And that's
about,
what I'm saying.
very much
Kind of zen. Kind of this is the the
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's one of the flaws. I mean,
without question.
Also, we've gotten 2 hours. It's not. I mean, and again, I'm being like, I want to get as much out of every episode as I can because I am enjoying a lot of likes, but. It's a lot of. It's slow. We haven't gotten. If this was a movie, if this was a 2-hour movie, we could have easily done everything they've done in 25 minutes.
Yeah, they wouldn't have. Yeah. Now I can't think of his name. The David Tennant robot.
Yeah, Young or something like that.
I actually, Professor
Hugh Yang.
That's an interesting thing that they've sort of just jammed in here, right?
I think it's interesting.
I think we've seen him before. Right?
Yes.
He's been helping Jedi train and building lightsabers for centuries, or maybe not centuries.
You've seen him before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in animation.
In animated series.
Oh, okay.
And so he's which is, I like the sarcasm. I like the brutal truth in some ways.
That was pretty
He's
funny.
the best. He's the best acting and lines in the show.
Yeah. I will say, I think the character I'm looking forward to seeing most in this is Ray Stevenson's character. I think basically a rogue Jedi. There's just a lot of potential there, and also the fact that the observation that he made that it would be a waste to just eliminate her. I think he's kind of I think he's more a gray area character than a solid black character.
Well, and I like the two of them together. I mean, clearly there's a master and apprentice thing going.
Blonde Leela?
With him and the girl, or with him and Snake Eyes?
Him and the girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Snake Eyes is another Inquisitor that we don't know much about. So I guess we'll find out more.
The one thing about, and I know they're trying to.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who can't see anything but Snake Eyes when we see this every time.
Yeah, that's all you see. Even the vertical line, or horizontal lines on whatever he's wearing.
Yeah.
I get they're translating animated characters to live action, and I think again, I had seen Ahsoka. I think she works fine. The Hera, the bizarre leather pilot's helmet over your big weird elephant trunk ears, and the goggles. Like, you just wear that everywhere? Like, that makes no sense.
I was watching it, and I said to my son Josh, I'm like, this is a few years after Rebels, and she's still wearing the exact same uniform.
But, like, you're an important leader in the... Like, General, can you take your freaking pilot's helmet off that you don't need to wear? Like, it's so bizarre.
It is weird, though. You're right. When you translate a character from animation, like, you want them to seem similar enough. Like, Sabine's armor at the end of episode 3...
so literal. I mean, it's
exact. Yeah.
It is, but it's also exact for her mature armor, and I think it works. I'm
just saying the rainbow colors and the decorations on her armor is translated note for note from the animation, and Hera's costume is not changed in years.
How does anyone take her seriously?
At some point, she's got to take the headset off and just have a full.
Or at least put the goggles on. Like, move them down so that they have a purpose. Otherwise...
when she's in an open cockpit spaceship? I mean, like, I just hit my thing. I don't get that.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, all of that aside, I think they've done a great job translating, most of these characters into live action. So here's a weird thing, and this was another thing I thought maybe you needed to have seen Rebels to like, the space whales... just showing up, like...
Oh my god, that was awesome.
But there's no context for that if you haven't seen Rebels. Like, why are there space whales?
But why does there have to be? I mean, there was no context.
What was the context
when the big thing tried to eat
Rebels?
the Millennium Falcon either? It's like there's giant creatures in space.
Well, yeah, but these things had, like... there's a main big focus on them in the end of Rebels. I mean, so they're interdimensional or galactic. They can transition from one galaxy to another, and
that's how they're going to get to Thrawn.
Ezra was
probably
able to commune with them and Ezra disappeared with them at the end of Rebels with Thrawn. Those space whales are the things that took Thrawn out of the galaxy.
But you know that because it was revealed to you, and we're getting it revealed to us in the show. It's fine.
We also those whales showed up in Mandalorian too when Grogu was piloting the starfighter and Mando was sleeping.
And I thought that was a neat little thing.
And the whales were above him.
Yeah. And in Star Trek 4.
Yeah, and in Star Trek 4, yeah.
Star Trek 4.
There be whales, Captain.
Yeah. Just good. I think
from your perspective of knowing it, you're like, they're not explaining. They'll get there.
I think so too. And because I'm explaining things in real time as we're watching this, and it's like, and then I keep thinking, I don't have to explain this. They'll get there.
Here was an interesting thing I saw in the credits, which I'm guessing neither of you caught. Leanna Vamp is actually doing performance capture for some of the droids. She's, I guess, somehow transitioned into... Yeah, they listed her as protocol droid performance artist in the credits.
Maybe she was standing in the same spot you were standing.
Maybe she was. Who knows?
In the mocap studio.
Anybody that doesn't know who she is, she's a cosplayer that we actually had on the show years ago, right?
Did we?
Or we at least met her at a convention.
We've seen her.
Yeah, we've seen her at a lot of conventions over the years.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I
so
think
let us know your thoughts.
I like it, and I would like it to be better, and that's where I'm at.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, and I'm hoping.
I don't think I have as much invested in it as you guys, but I just think the writing and directing need to be tightened up.
And the other thing I would say is we've now seen 3 episodes, and we have yet to see the ghost. So
yeah, that's kind of irritating. Though seeing the shuttle was cool. Seeing the Phantom too.
The Phantom is great, and actually, what we didn't mention is the way they have translated Chopper into live action is remarkable. But in some ways, we get Chopper on 11 every time we see Chopper.
It's a little cartoony.
They need to keep Chopper away from Professor Hyung or whatever his name is, okay? Because you put the two of those together, and then it's going to be a little too, they're going to be trying too hard.
I'm hoping when we see the ghost is that they'll bring Zeb in at that point.
I don't
think who has Zeb. The ghost,
I think they've already established Zeb is elsewhere.
Well, they established that Zeb was in a Republic X-wing camp.
Yeah. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if we see him in this, but I think that was.
I don't know how they can do this and not reunite the whole crew. They have to reunite the whole crew at some point.
But they did not make this for people who watch Rebels.
Exactly, and this is all they're going seriously girl power in this. I mean, they're really focusing on the female.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have made such a big deal out of that mural if they weren't going to bring them all back together.
Well, we're not going to see Kanan, so...
No, we're not going to see Kanan. But the ones that are all alive, they got to bring them back together. Anyway, for me, I'm hoping for that by the end of the series. It would be nice.
I don't expect that. I think that was actually... I think the answer to that question was the throwaway of Zeb at the bar. I think that was like, oh, yeah, he's somewhere else. I think that's how they were addressing that.
Well, we'll see. Maybe when Ezra... I'm assuming Ezra comes back. Maybe when Ezra's back, maybe he'll show up and there'll be like a little reunion.
Yeah. So,
okay, cool. Did someone have a last thought?
Yes, I was just going to mention this past weekend. Jimmy Buffett passed away. Not everybody's taste in music. I went to see him several times, and they were the most fun I ever had going to a concert. And I saw him several different places, and I'm actually wearing a shirt from when I saw him in Palm Beach in 1998. And the man loved what he was doing, and he
seemed like a guy having fun all the time.
It was everywhere he went. It was a party.
There was a party, and that's just it. And it's like I said on a forum yesterday, I was communicating with some people, and I said, if there's a beachfront bar in heaven, there's a stool waiting for him. And like I said, always, and like I said, you can love his music, you can not love his music. Everyone knew who he was, and
he played at Jones Beach every summer here on Long Island and sold it out, and it was always a party. And I know people that went, and the the pre-party in the parking lot was as much fun for people as the concert.
Absolutely, he was as much a lifestyle as he was an artist, and
you also can't take away the fact that he parlayed a song into an empire.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean,
he's got the
restaurants,
Margaritaville.
he's got resorts.
There's one in Times Square.
Yeah, but there's beyond the restaurants. There's resorts now. There's Margaritaville resorts.
Oh, is it really?
And there's also people in the Keys that say he did a ton for tourism when that was a rundown area. And he promoted.
Maybe that's where I went to his. I went to his Cheeseburger in Paradise. It was probably in Key West.
And that that they definitely needed a boost, and it brought a lot of attention to that. And but anyways, he was an interesting dude, and he did his thing, and he seemed to enjoy every moment of it, and you can't argue with that. So
let's hope he found his lost shaker of salt.
And no doubt. So
rest in peace, Jimmy.
Yes,
I'm sure he's having a good time wherever he is.
Yeah.
Cool. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.